Alright, hello everybody, welcome to VR Master League here today, Thursday, first matches of the day, and going into a busy last 4 days of the regular season. I'm Palidore, and well, I'm still waiting to get into this match, so I'm relying on these teams to get me invites soon, I do hope. But in the meantime, I thought I would start it up anyways and say hi to everyone. Um, I did get an okay from Maddie in the Discord, so presumably invite will be coming any moment. We shall see. Although apparently there was a update here to Echo this morning, perhaps. So I think that may be causing some delays here as players do need to update their game here. So we'll see if that's a factor. Either or. No worries, we have 3 European matches scheduled today. Over on VRML Channel 2 right now, there is a match going on between Fusion and Team Gecko. So if you do want to catch that one, that's definitely available for you as well. In the meantime, it looks like checking in on the channel right now. Hasn't quite started yet, but looks like team's getting ready to fairly shortly, I think. So, yes, Team Gecko and Fusion over on Channel 2 will be playing. And presuming everything stays on schedule, relatively speaking, we'll also have a second match between Team Gecko and Fusion on this channel following the matchup between Vibers and Phantoms. That's the ideal, anyway. And when I say that, looks like... Here, one moment, please. I'll be right back. Don't mind the silence. I apologize. All right, so still trying to get that settled here. Again, with the update, ideally, everyone will get that done shortly. But in the meantime, hello to everyone in the chat. Apologies for the delays. Happens every now and then. But hopefully we'll be good to go soon. I see Saluna stopping in there. The first this time. I know it's always a race sometimes between people to get there first in the chat. I gotta mention Saluna because we saw her last night on Mirage, subbing at the time against Tint, and she had a gigantic match. Filled up the stat sheet there. Mirage took Tint to 3 rounds. That's, of course, a team with a couple of the developers in there, as well as some veteran players who've been to finals in the past for Echo tournaments. And that was super impressive. Then I saw, as of this morning, Saluna actually joining Mirage. That's cool. Shout out to Saluna. See Meatballer there from Spaghetti stopping by. Not Lucario, Kowalden TV, Boop, and Omen Hollow. Shout out Omen as well, because he's one of the players there who's stepped into the streams rather frequently in recent weeks. And definitely super excited over the game and getting into the Quest beta. And I saw, as of yesterday, Omen did indeed get into the Quest beta. So happy to have him in there finally. Still trying to find the latest here from the teams. All right, again, my apologies, just communicating. So, see Newton in the chat as well. Stopping in, Pyromane, and Axis Real Time. Quoten TV saying, hey, I just joined 2 weeks ago. A lot of new players. I'm glad to have you all. Definitely the Twitch chat, as well as the Discord chat, Reddit, Twitter. A lot of the media here surrounding Quest and Echo Arena blowing up as of late. It's been fun. Blowing up in a good way, of course. But yeah, lots of excitement in the air. Definitely from the league standpoint as well. From my standpoint, just as someone who's been around for the last few years since the closed beta of the PC version of Echo Arena. So it's kind of cool to see all that come full circle at this point. And just seeing so many new faces, literally thousands of new faces in the Discord channel. I mean, at minimum, 1,000 as of a day or two ago, just compared to where it was last week. And I know several hundred more as of this morning alone, so just a lot of new interaction coming through. Pyromane saying, yeah, we're seeing a lot of new players in the lobby, which is a nice sight. So even in the PC version, perhaps, kind of seeing a good resurgence. Cross-play between Quest version and PC version, obviously it will be a thing in the closed beta at some point, is not at the moment. And then certainly for full release, the cross-play will be fully intact there. Whether you're on Quest or PC, everyone can interact and play with each other, and that's going to be fun to see develop as well. But I think it's a good thing for the Quest version, and for the Quest user base especially, because this is the first time in the near 3-year span of Echo Arena that will be having this large of a new player base coming in all at basically the exact same time, or at the same time window. So just like from us, OGs of sorts from the original days where we all kind of learned the game together, queuing together at the same time in 2017 and early 2018. Kind of the same case for Quest now. Gonna have all these players getting into it all at once and just learning together. But the difference is now there is a multitude of resources, top to bottom. Not to mention community events. Again, if you're new to the game, aside of the league play that we have here, I mean, we have boot camps, community boot camps, pickup nights. There's several people who've made video tutorials. I made a couple back in the day, but that's a time long past. I mean, we have so much more content now between the streamers, and we have Martin the Third over in Europe. He's made some tutorial videos. Swift, he's on Team Fusion. He's made some recent tutorial videos. You got Rox Titan over in North America, one of the most popular subs in NA right now, but obviously just also a hugely talented player. And he has like a bunch of analyses on these VR Master League matches week to week on the very high level play, team play, stuff like that. So there's so many more resources now for the new player base to learn from and kind of gather their information from, understand how it's played. But obviously, in a nutshell, Echo Arena, if you know anything about any team sport in real life, whatever it is, football, soccer, baseball, basketball, hockey, all of the above, a lot of that that mentality translates to Echo Arena extremely naturally. Omen saying, I still watch those tutorials, Palidore. Shush. Well, I think if you're talking about my videos, yeah, I think the fundamentals are more or less intact, but certainly the meta has changed a bit since then, because those videos were made back in November or December 2017. I mean, it's been a good while. A lot of the basics, though, definitely stay intact that I taught, because a lot of that was kind of just based on positioning and floor awareness and things like that, passing lanes, boost priority. So a lot of those things are actually still intact. And looks like here, I just got my invite. Good news. So again, sorry for the delay, but thank you for bearing with us. So we're about to get into this match between Vibers and Phantoms, ideally soon. Will be Phantoms coming in 21-0. That's right, the unprecedented here in VR Master League to start off our first season. I mean, the league's so competitive top to bottom. We have about 40 active teams between the two regions. Oh, and looks like we're still here in a regular lobby, so you get to stare at the palm of my hand for the next few moments. Here, in fact, let me, just for the sake of it, I'll pull up the schedule for you guys so you can see what we got on the list today, because we do have 9 matches, ultimately. So, several to come, still, as we await the joining into this actual private match. In the meantime, if anyone does have questions or comments or anything you want answered, or just want some shoutouts and such, feel free to send them my way. Not claiming to be the ultimate authority on Echo, but I have been here for 3 years and heavily involved in competitive play over the course of those 3 years and whatnot. So I'd like to think I have an okay idea of how things go. In any case, let's see here. Omen saying, studying a lot of match VODs and such, trying to learn everything from a beginner's mindset, even with skills I feel very comfortable with. And yeah, that's a good mentality to have. Even these days, I think there's still so much to learn, and that's kind of the scary part, because you have players and teams who've been in the game for anywhere from 1 to 3 years now, just about. And the honest truth, I truly believe we're nowhere near the ceiling yet in terms of either individual skill nor team play. Skill level extremely high these days, but it's just like real life sports where, you know, year over year, decade over decade, the styles, the metas, stuff like that changes, but you just see, you know, as it gets more and more popular, the continual rise in new challengers and people with new skill sets. I say it a bunch, but I still don't think we've had extremely talented players, but as far as having that, you know, generational level talent where they're like the Michael Jordans of the generation and whatnot. Not sure that we've had that yet necessarily. We'll see though. Boop in there saying Echo greater than Rocket League. Well, there, yeah, two. If you had to compare Echo to any other video game, I would say Rocket League is probably one of the closest things in the video game scene that's not a, you know, sports game like NBA, NFL, stuff like that. But definitely the difference is, and the beautiful difference is with Echo Arena, everything that happens in Echo, it's I mean, with very few exception, it's all handled by the player doing it. There's no, we're not dealing with canned animations here. I mean, if a player is punching someone, they're punching. If they're shooting the disc towards the goal, they score it. You know, their shot form is going to translate directly into what you see on the screen. If they're doing dances, whatever it is, all of it is super physical. And that's why I make the sport comparison. It's a perfect marriage just about between the virtual and the real, which I guess is quite fitting to virtual reality. Yeah? Yeah. So I'm still kind of awaiting confirmation from what exactly is going on here between the teams. I am in a lobby, just not the lobby. That is to say, the private match. Trying to keep up to date too with the Discord chat at the moment, and doing a little bit of troubleshooting for a few players, it might seem. So either or, this has turned now into an impromptu Q&A and comment stream, I suppose. Let's see. Yeah, Carson above a little bit, talking about that Rocket League comparison. One of my teammates over in the ESL days, Simeon, who actually, by the by, for those who don't know, he's started to make his return. Simeon has got a quest now. He's played a couple times. I haven't actually had a chance to play with him, but he might be getting back into it. But yes, Simeon, one of my teammates on Eclipse back in the day, former champ, and he's a huge Rocket League player. In fact, every time I've seen his Discord status playing a game the last few months, it's usually been Rocket League, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Simeon might be coming back. He's got a quest all of a sudden. So that's interesting. Also interesting, in those private matches I talked about, you want to know who he was actually playing with in those privates? Speedy and Guygasm, who, talk about throwback, 2017. That was a thing. But it's fun to see that this many years later we still have those players involved. All right, so I got a new invite just now. This one's gonna be the one. I can feel it, folks. Not Lucario asking above there, or saying above. Pally, kind of thinking if I should pick up a new name if I ever try to get into competitive esports scene in Echo. Up to you, man. There's a lot of very fun names and unique names in the Echo scene, and so yeah, it's all up to you for sure. But there's a lot of fun ones throughout this scene. I mean, you can see a lot of them here just in chat alone, in the Twitch chat. I mean, for me, I've been Palidore pretty much my entire gaming / internet life, honestly. I guess as I continue to stall for you here, quick I guess history on the Palidore thing. Got that from my grandpa. He's who got the person who got me into video games when I was very, very young, and it was him playing Baldur's Gate, one of the kind of grandfather RPGs, came out back in, I think, 98, 99, somewhere around that area. His main character he named Palidore, and I would sit, next to him or on his lap and watch him play for hours, and eventually I started playing on my own, and I liked the name, so I took Palidore and have been running with it for the last nearly 2 decades since then. So there you go. Fun little story. That said, an even funner story is that I am in the match now, so just getting some last minute things settled here, and we're about ready to go. I'm going to ping these teams in just a moment, so give me a sec. All right, Pyromane saying Palilore. I like that. Very good. But yes, so that's one of the, I guess, nice things about having a unique name of sorts is that you're, I don't know, double-edged sword. You're easy to find. I mean, I pretty much stick with Palidore wherever I go for the most part. But that's all right. I've got nothing to hide. Famous last words. But yeah, only thing you'll find, I think, in results is you'll see Palidore me, and you'll see Palidore a Russian door company or something like that. But otherwise, hard to confuse, mostly. But alright, so we got both the teams in here. Vibers on the blue side, it's Emil, Finn, Taco on Thursday, and BK is what they're running with here today. And Phantoms, it's Maddie, Nillywick, Sundance, and Torin, again with that mega impressive record. Absolutely just killing it here in Europe. In this first season. Now, there are some contenders that can contest them potentially. It's going to be a tough task, and really it would take almost perfect play at times. Vibers are one of them. Actually, in the first meeting earlier in the season, Vibers did pressure them pretty well, the Phantoms here, when they played them last, or 2 times ago rather. I mean, it was a 2-round series, but the differential actually was not all that extreme between the 2 teams. Yeah, I mean, it went to, it's like 2 rounds. Overall, the first round was 15-8 and then 11-9, so both in favor of Phantoms on that first meetup. But I mean, that's pretty close. There have been times the Phantoms have come pretty close to being handed some losses. In fact, they were taken to 3 rounds as well just last Sunday. So it happens for sure as we get the first launch out here. So again, thank you everyone for the patience as we get those updates through, and we got everyone here and integrated into the game. Also just realizing, I believe, my camera angles, indeed, were a bit reset because of that update. So good to note. I'll have to roll with just the free cam for most of this match as a result, but that's okay. So BK going over here too. Taco on Thursday, getting that cleared deep down to the other side of the floor. The stacks coming on through now. And taking it over here is Torin for the Phantoms. Now Maddie over on that other side will head off to Nilly. Nilly, talented all-around player, but as a striker too, very tricky. Going in is Torin, and he needs tricky, getting the first couple points. Although nothing too fancy about that handle at the goal. It's just straight up. Went onto the goalie from the shoulder, got the first 2. So 1 minute into the game, here we are. Newton in the chat saying, I was Nitro Newton, and then I was just Newton. Well, you know what? Just Newton is more than good enough for me. That 3, not quite good enough to make it, but may have a rebound here, depending. You do see Finn trying to contest with some of those stuns, and now 3 of the Vibers players actually kind of out of position. Oh, but in the right position is Taco on Thursday. Gets the save on Thursday. About time. Usually it's every day but Thursday, but got the right timing on that one, but yet the stacks back on the disc. A turnover here intercepted by BK, passing it over to Taco, but then he has it saved by Torin. Still back to Finn, and the Vibers will have another chance. So here we go, Torin slapping it out. Some passes coming on through, but the defense very tightly played here by Phantoms. And again, the record 21-0, which, again, tough record to break. We'll see if it happens today. Not impossible, but right here with a beautiful backboard pass. That is the bread and butter of Phantoms. They love going to just the extra passes and the easier shots from very close in that goal range whenever they can. So there it is. Pyro's saying, I wish more people played in EU so Phantoms wouldn't crush everyone. Something about a language barrier. Well, here's a barrier. I don't know if that's the one you're looking for, but in any case, so we'll be rolling up into the goal with a cross pass, just missing Vibers. Over here to Nillywick. And Nillywick slapping it back to the side wall. Fun, kind of irrelevant fact, too. I do believe 21-0 is what The Undertaker's streak was before he lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. There's a Reddit meme for you. Something like that. But anyways, could it happen here today? Maybe, but it would take the Vibers playing perfect and the Phantoms playing a bit off. As Finn rolls here from down below, going for a duck through move. And now a nice dunk through move from BK. So looking like maybe a shot, but actually just an assist from Finn over to BK softly off the goalie's diving off the goalpost there. And we'll be 4-2. So it is, at least as of these first few minutes, pretty close. So Sundance rolling out, just waiting for Emil to join him there. And Bother on defense, I should say. Playing it patiently is the name of the game for Phantoms when they need to. They are a very fast team, but they also do play it slow when they need. And right there, it's just going to be a walk-in from Nillywick. Had the defense trying to contest it, but he's just going to slip right by. More or less a 2v1. The defense just missing a grab on him, so taking that shot, and it's a 4-point lead. Still 6 minutes remaining, however. And I got you, Pyro. I got you. Yeah, it makes sense. But, I mean, still, it's the participation's still pretty happy with Europe. I think it will definitely increase with Quest version all around as we get a good boost coming in. Maddie now to the backboard. Torin, one extra pass. Nilly now, he just walks it in. Quite literally. Doesn't even let go of the disc until he's just about inside of the goal. So there you go. It's 8-2 for Phantoms. You can see the prioritization of the extra passes right in front. And that's the thing, when you utilize passes, when you go from forward to behind the backboard to forward again, what does that do? It bothers the goalie a bit because, you know, Taco on Thursday, good goalie. Finn, good goalie. A lot of good defenders on their team. But what those cross passes does, especially when you're going back and forth behind and then in front of the goal, it makes that goalie turn around again and again and again, and thus it makes it much harder to actually kind of read those discs because you have to react so much quicker. So very nice there. Omen Hollow appreciating that in the Twitch chat, the passing plays from Phantoms, and they'll provide those on a weekly basis. Usually it's not uncommon to see their teammates on Phantoms all end up with 3, 4, 5, 6 assists per game. Without fail, just about. So still yet, though, it is a close game. There's the boost coming in from Vibers here, trying to get there first. They're just backing out to the hands of Sundance, and Sundance ducking through the Finn boost as they get the disc off to the sidewall, or to the tunnel rather. Now Maddie cross-passing it. Emil trying to play the lanes and cut it off, but there's the reset to the back line again, and you can see the spacing. I mean, got one person in every single corner from Phantom just about now, just closing in on the goal, but just a mishandle of the disc there. Not sure what might have happened there, but just losing the handles, and will be a off clear now going for Nillywick, but he's there first and then backs it out immediately to the stack on the Phantoms. And you notice for Phantoms there, they had one player going on the disc, and they sent the other players back to the goal just to get that reset. Nonetheless, turnover coming in here and going back to the Vibers' hands, so they can potentially bring this back, you know, cut the lead in half, basically, and bring it to an 8-4 if they score here. But Sundance making it tough, a good sling through on the steal, but couldn't hit the shot on that as well. But yet another rebound for Vibers. They're going to have a chance again as BK goes for the cross, but too much strength, too much mustard will not get them what they wanted quite there. So Phantoms retaining, and now we'll be launching with Vibers along the way trying to meet it.
Blue team takes possession. Blue sends it back the other way.
And Pyro just commenting on the learning curve and such, as that disc will just curve right out of the goal. It was kind of close off the backboard, but a tough angle. Emil on the floor. Vibers yet another chance to do something with it, but the passing execution right now just a tad off, so maybe coming in a little bit cold, which you do see from time to time on these teams. You know, sometimes the first first several minutes of that first round will take some time to warm up on the passes. At the moment there, even with maybe a missed pass, the positioning of the Phantoms will get them the extra attempts, as you can see, and they'll back it out here again. So Maddie with that disc just dodging Emil on the defense. Sundance approaching from the nest. Just tapping off the nest and finding the goal, painting that corner. Some nice shot placement from Sundance just out of the reach of the goalie. Very conscious, especially against good goalies, which are aplenty in Europe, not to throw it into their center of mass, not to throw it where it's easy for them to reach without having to move, you know? So really kind of stretching out the arms and making them move if they want to get those saves. So very good job from the offense recognizing what they needed to do to convert. So a clear coming through here, some more boosts coming through. Vibers needing to get back and try and make a late game run, a late round run in this round one. This game did get started a bit late, so indeed this is the first round. See a few new people joining up in the Twitch stream, so thank you for doing so. This is the yet to be defeated Phantoms with a unbelievable 21-0 record. The only undefeated team in the league as we wind down this season. But again, there are teams who have contested them multiple times, have forced these third rounds, have made the scores close. It's just Phantoms have been impeccable when it comes to closing out these matches. And just as well, we've seen the return of Team Gravity, who were the preseason champions, as well as one of the longest standing organizations in Echo Arena, dating back to 2017. They're definitely a team who might be able to cause some trouble to the Phantoms' efforts. Beyond that, though, Emil on this offensive effort, and there's, again, the shot placement at the feet this time. So good job by Emil for Vibers to get a couple more points on the board, going for the feet of the goalie this time. And less than a minute left, a 6-point match. It's not impossible, but Vibers are going to need some stellar and aggressive defense if they have hopes to come back. I mean, they're basically going to need a couple threes. I don't think they have time for 3 twos. So at this point, with a few more seconds off the clock, it will just be Phantoms taking this round, it looks like, especially with the stall going through. So there it goes to Torin. He's going to have himself a one-on-one right on the goalie, painting another corner yet again, in the artistry at work for the Phantoms.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8.
Pyromane saying 36 viewers, seems to be busier than usual. Quest hype, part of it Quest hype, part of it end of season hype. There's been a lot of new viewers on the stream. Yesterday for one of our matches in North America, A+ Ultra versus Nitro. That one had upwards of 45 to 50 viewers as this round does conclude. On Sunday, that Kangos versus Joker match peaked at above 80 viewers. So definitely a ton of activity coming through. Pardon me, trying to get my scores adjusted, just realizing my binds got reset a bit because of some updates, but that's okay. We'll settle it there.
ET phone home.
All right, pardon me for the silence. Just trying to adjust some things on my end. Got a little bit thrown off by the updates, not just on Echo's end, but mine too. Some bindings got lost for some reason, but we're good now, I do believe. Here we go to the highlights screen. See the highlights from that first round. It was a 10-4 score for the Phantoms, coming through with just, as they consistently do, the fantastic passing play, the patience. I mean, 2 assists apiece for Maddie, Sundance, and Torin. Niliwick, no assists, but you know what? He got the most points for his team, so being fed by his teammates. Over on Viber's end, it was 2 apiece for Emil and BK. Finn with the 2 assists for her team, and Taco on Thursday with a save and 8 stuns. So off to round 2 now. And here we go. As the disc just gets missed on that first joust, but Sundance is going to deal some punches out while his teammates in the back line do collect. Yeah, 80 viewers. Pyro was pretty tense. We all might have seen it in the ticker there, but Twitch chat got super hyped. It was crazy. We got 46 subs on Sunday, gifted subs. Or a few of them were tier 1, but like there were 3 or 4 different people who gifted 5 or 10 subs. That was pretty awesome. But over here, Torin with the dive in. We'll just drive it into the goal from that corner. It was basically a 3-on-1 situation, just about. The goalie completely collapsed upon, so at the mercy of the Phantoms for the first two.
10, 9, 8, 7.
But it was a definitely hyped up Twitch chat. It was fun to see, and definitely that Kangarillas versus Joker game on Sunday. One of the best matches of the season, no doubt, and just one of the funnest matches and Twitch chats to be a part of, I think, as a whole. Handing Joker their first defeat in 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks. Actually, no, longer than that, I think, more like 6 weeks. Only team even contesting a Joker and making them lose and go into third rounds has been the Kangarillas, which has definitely been an interesting story to follow there on the North American side of things. But over here, it will be the Phantoms continuing to follow them on their hot streak. They're going to rebound it here, dish it off to Nillywick. A good slick pass over to Nilly from 5 meters out. Again, just keeping the defenses all kinds of off balance based on the, from behind to front to behind to front, and just making the goalies constantly turn their head. Not sure where that disc and where that shot is going to come from in the end. So on this launch out, the first 4 points for Phantoms. Relatively slow pace to these initial 12 minutes of action, which has been one of those developing points on this meta. You will see it really start to slow down. But right there, really quick on the grab, BK has the pass maybe to the cross, and will just get it through off the backboard. Finn scores it off that good assist. And there will be a 2-point lead now just for the Phantoms as Vibers find their first points in round 2.
7, 6,
Oh boy. Late Toast highlighted message saying, I still think Palidore forcing a pun should be a channel point reward. That's alright. I already forced puns enough to begin with. Not really. Nothing else, Swift told me, as a shot goes out off a steal, so hold that thought. Swift over on Fusion told me I'm not forcing them enough. I'm barely punning this season, so shame on me, I guess. But oh, good interception from BK, and from 6 meters out, we'll tie it up at 4 apiece.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
So good job here from the Vibers tying it up, and I mentioned this was the case when they faced off earlier in the season.
Have cleared the launch.
There was a second round between Vibers and Phantoms where Phantoms did win, but it was only by a 2-point differential, 11-9. So Phantoms definitely needing to play and maintain that focus, maintain that strength that they've shown. Right here, going to that bread and butter, always successful, or at least 90% of the time it feels like. Anytime, especially Torin, a frequent receiver up there in the above backboard area. And anytime he gets it up there, I mean, he's just salivating for those shot opportunities because it's a very, very high conversion rate for him. Pyro saying, I have 3K points and nothing to spend them on, apart from highlights. I know, I'm sorry. I can promise that will be addressed. We'll have a nice updated channel as that one will go into the goal, channeling his offensive spirit for the 2 points. It's 8-4. See, so I might not be forcing puns all the time, but I will force myself into awkward segues just like that one. Doesn't matter. I'm telling you, there's always a segue in there somewhere. If you look hard enough, it's there, and I try and find them the best I can. Also trying not to talk too much during the important play. So here we go. It will be Torin and Maddie launching out. You can see that pass to Nillywick, but see how quickly that they get into offensive position, trying to take advantage of the open goal, unable to do so. Maybe a rebound here if they get together on the stacks. There's a 3-man boost coming in, and they will actually cause a turnover briefly. So off that bottom wedge, Maddie gets it, and once again, defense a bit off balance. We've seen this being a running theme for Vibers at times where the defense not really getting back quickly, but that said, the Phantoms do opt to play it slowly, and actually a turnover here being caused courtesy of Finn. So she'll go for that one, trying to look to the midline for any boosted player, cause a leech, get a stun either, or bringing it back within 2 points with that score. It's BK. That's 8-6 here in the second round. Nicely done. Vibers really sticking this one through so far with halfway still remaining in round 2, and it's BK leading with the 6 points thus far. And some emotes as well, definitely a thing. Can put some of those in there. I don't know. I didn't like the emote at first, but I'm sure at this point we could integrate the take a cough one. It seems casting appropriate for those times that I lose my mind on streams. We'll definitely find some things to add to the channel, though, rest assured, as Torin is going to control the disc, and again, the controlled pass. I mean, everything they do. Seems like even when the defense does approach Phantoms and it gets a little bit cluttered in the bubble, they're just, they know where to place the next passes. So pulling back ahead by 4 points, but Vibers have really been doing a great job sticking with it. Trying to force some of these plays themselves. Last time scoring off a turnover, see if they can do it again, but instead it'll be just a turnover conceded to the Phantoms, as it will go right into the bubble and scored again. So Sundance off that boost, end to end of the floor in what seems like no time at all. And finding themselves up 12-6 here with 3:44 remaining.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
And agreed with Pyro there. The round definitely very balanced, which is a mirror of what we saw earlier in the season. You know, Vibers are legitimately a good team. You know, when they're playing at their best, they can take on any team in this division, in this league. As that shot, though, going through for 3. So the goalie's just a bit too bothered and distracted, and it will be slipping it in for the 15-6 lead. So maybe the caster's curse or the Twitch commenter's curse there coming in as they begin to pull away by a bit. But nonetheless, you know, still full credit to the Vibers here. They can compete with the best of them on their best days for sure. And against a team like the Phantoms, you need to be at your best if you have any hopes of competing. So Taco on Thursday trying to maneuver around that defense. You can see the stack coming in, bothering, but they get back quickly, which is the important thing with the midline play on defense. Right now, though, on offense, it's BK yet again, assisted by Finn yet again. It seems like anytime we're seeing a Vibers score, quite often it's scored by BK or assisted by Finn. In this case, both. So 8 points here for the Vibers, 2:20 remaining in round 2. So now an intercept, actually. So Finn getting that disc back and maybe some momentum coming the way, but a bold pass there will be contested hard. Going the way of BK, couldn't quite make the shot, was pressured by the punch as Emil receives this one over at the barrier. Going down below to the backboard now, BK cutting in as well, but being cut off by Maddie. Taco on Thursday, however, some great positioning, does get the interception. Another pass here to Finn, cutting across to BK, and up and under move, and it's 10 points for Vibers now, bringing it back within 5. So they still have some time here. Minute and 40 left, and it's a 2-goal game. Still within their possession, or within their reach to maybe come back. We'll have to see. So as Sundance goes for the launch out here, we'll hit that bottom ramp deep down. So a very efficient rollout, unable to hit the 3, however. So leeches from BK in that midline coming through now as the defense takes place. And as is often the case here, Phantoms do manage to regain control of this disc. I mean, if they can get an open shot, they'll gladly take it. But I would not be surprised to see them back it out, as they do right here, and start slowing it down for this last minute of play. You know, they have the 5-point lead, so they therefore do not need to force anything up into the 2-point zone unless it's given to them. Like this right here, one-on-one, a fake, and a make. It's 7-point lead here for the Phantoms, looking to pull away and claim their 22nd victory, perhaps, in this very successful season from them. First round was 10-4. Second round here about to end. 17-10 at the moment. We'll see if that changes here with enough time for maybe one more score here from either side. We'll see. But good games indeed, Simon. And we will have another match following, presumably, right after this. I know both matches that were scheduled to start at the same time had a bit of a late start, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening yet. I'll have to update myself on the situation. But for the moment, one last fling maybe from Nillywick. No, he's just going to opt to take it out.
Indeed. Good game, guys. I hate my life. That was such a bad day.
All right. Well, 17-10. Players enjoying themselves there. Good games and good spirits all around. Love to see the sportsmanship, and it was a very just good job by Vibers. Definitely to just keep in the match as best they could. And that they did. Alright, so take you to the highlight screen there real quick. Try and get that all going. And pardon the silence for a moment as I do try to attempt to organize myself. Unfortunately, the teams actually did hit restart before I can save. Normally, I'm able to save these stats pretty quickly. However, because my bindings got reset, it was a little bit of an extra process this time. So, unfortunately, I can't actually get a read on the stats due to the reset. But nonetheless, stats aplenty for the two teams. That much is certain, especially on the assisting end from the Phantoms, as is often the case. Now they will improve now to indeed the 22-0 record. Vibers will go to 10-13, but still not bad at all. Again, I mean they've been a consistently good team over the season and competing. You know, 2 matches now against the Phantoms. They've made it quite close in some of these rounds. So definitely a team to look forward to going into the next season. Now that said, this is the end of this match, and looking at the Discord at the moment, it looks like, yeah, we will have perhaps our next Fusion and Team Gecko match on this channel next. So we're going to redirect to that quickly here. So join us around the corner, and be right back. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to VR Master League for our second match of the day, at least on this channel. This is actually the second match in a row for Fusion and Team Gecko. Joining me now on the caster's booth will be SirDimwi, moving from channel 1 to channel 2 as we kind of realign here. And SirDimwi, well, what can you tell me about this match, and also what occurred over there on channel 2 in the first matchup between these two teams that just finished?
Yeah, the game that just finished it was won by Fusion. They did win in 2. They played the first round 3v3 as both teams had players having some trouble with the update, and they weren't able to get in time. So they started 3v3. They finished round 1 3v3. It was a close game, but taken by Fusion. And then when Fusion, both teams got their players back, it was down to them and bad internet, respectively. So Team Gecko and Fusion, respectively. They went 4v4, and yeah, Fusion took that second round. And so, yeah, Team Gecko looking to make something happen. And they do.
Wow.
That one from that 38 meters out off the backboard. Good for a 3 there to start this round 1 and game 2.
I wasn't sure. I was eyeing it. It looked maybe good. I couldn't tell if it was just going to hit maybe just the side of the pyramid, but no, working its way in there. So Axis real time for the 3 time. That is 3 points in the first minute of play. So Swift with that disc over in the pack area with that pass. Oh, the shot actually conceded. Looks like just leaving goal, losing the handles perhaps, and kind of caught in no man's land. So Alikos will absolutely capitalize off of it.
There's a great shot there from Alikos, sending it in deep for the 3. And yeah, my UI actually, I can't see the report on it. 17 meters a second from 16 meters out. Beautiful shot there from Alikos to tie this one up just a minute and a half in.
And a steal coming in from Frogio, bad internet as well. Right there contesting for Fusion, so tied up that first minute. And you mentioned, you know, that first match that they just finished on Channel 2 was once it went 4v4, Fusion, you know, doing a great job to just secure the win. For Team Gecko, I mean, we've seen them come in with some nice plays for sure. Saw them face watching Weaves multiple times now, always entertaining series. And on the shot there from Fusion, well, it's going to be a 5-3 advantage now for them.
Yeah, a solid shot there from Swift. Brings it down on the goalie on the right side. On the goalie's left, his right. And it's that angle, it's really tricky when you're playing goal. That angle can be really tricky just because it looks harder than it is. Just, but I think it has to do with the fact that the shooter can always hook that disc in to widen up the angle they're shooting from.
Yeah, very true. I was kind of getting on that point in the last stream as a good steal comes in from Multi, just swinging on by and getting the clear. But I was mentioning how the beauty of Echo Arena really is just how there's no canned animations involved. When you see players do something, it's because they're doing it. So we're talking about those hook shots and side shots and trying to maneuver around at every possible angle. It's because they're doing exactly that in real life, 1-to-1.
Yeah, and you see it a lot, especially from especially from the high angle. As good pass there to bad internet. Bad internet's gonna set that one in so softly there from 4 meters out. But yeah, no, from when you see it so often when a shooter's coming in from those high angles, you think, oh well, the goal is from their perspective is really thin. But then when you think about it, they can, if they widen their arc and even lean back a little bit, they can really open that goal up for a shot. And yeah, you see it all the time.
Yeah, we see it right there with the speed coming through and all these regrabs. I mean, again, all 1-to-1. Super physical is this game. I'm seeing so many new players, new faces, and new names in the Twitch streams this week alone. Last couple days, that shot will just barely miss off the bottom. So it's just definitely glad to see all these people and joining here in our sport as they go in for the quick goal, but no, denied there by Axis with a stun. Looked like going for that shield move on his self, but then just lost the handles of the disc. However, up high, trying to deliver a pass maybe to the shoulder, bouncing it off, but now taken on the bottom by Alikos, going to bad internet, new to this roster, not new to the game certainly, and he will make his name known as he gets the 2-point goal, 9-3 now.
Yeah, that's a solid goal there. Sending it in, receives a pass from Alikos on that right frame block on the floor there. And sends it in right at the goalie. Goalie just can't get the grab on it. Good for the 2, and that's going to push Fusion up by 6 here.
Yeah,
just a little over halfway. Sorry, under halfway.
Calling out the frame there, and that was a discussion in the Discord earlier today, just about all the different names we have for these geos. As that good stun comes in on Frogio from Axis, but the rebound conceded, but not the shot at least. So back into the goal. But a lot of different names for these geos. So definitely for your newer viewers. When we refer to these islands, these blocks, refer to it as geos, like geometry is that one. Not quite the geometrically sound shot, could not get the bounce.
Yeah, I think we established the only blocks that have consistent names between the players are Bowtie and Nest. Yeah. Everything else has at least 2 names, some with 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Some with even more.
Yeah, there's some definitely popular ones, so just for the sake of ease and for the ease of new viewers in the stream, we like to call it. But over here, calling the save by the Multi as bad internet gets his own rebound. However, a great pass though to the cutter, another save and another rebound from Frogio, just snagging it out of the hands and dunking it home. That was a slick series of plays, both offense and defense, but ultimately the score for Fusion.
Yeah, Frogio deciding, well, we can't get it into the front, so let's just slip it in the back, and he does there. Stuffs that one in like a Thanksgiving turkey. And, yeah, good for the 2, and now up by 8 Fusion is.
Yeah, well, really good just quickness. The reflexes being shown both defensively and offensively, just able to get those snags as they get the goal. Just another one open, barely enough. But again, Fusion doing a really good job kind of securing those open windows when they do have them. Because as we can see, if the defense is in the goal, there's some talented goalies over there on Team Gecko that are going to make it very tough to score without a little bit of extra work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, Gecko's defense, I mean, we saw them make 2 or 3 stops before the last goal, before the previous goal to the one we just saw. And but yeah, that one, the lane opened up so wide. Uh-oh.
Well, speaking of windows, accidentally there, losing the disc off of that window on the catapult area. So definitely not the ideal turnaround for them. But it will be a goal here, 15 now for Fusion.
I just got to comment. I mean, I've seen plenty of players. I've done it plenty of myself where you just gotta, you lose your trajectory and end up in a tube and you kind of find yourself outside of the arena. But that one I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen anyone chasing the disc down ever shoot the disc into a tube like that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be another score here for Swift. But yeah, it's a little bit unusual there. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't happen to me once upon a time. Just once, I swear. But yeah, it's always one of those situations. You just kind of gotta, well, shrug it off and say, hey, that happened. Whoops.
Yeah, those tubes can be a little bit dangerous there. I know, like I said, I've been caught. The most embarrassing is when you're trying to get back to goal to make a save. I've done this. Try to get back to goal to make a save.
Hold on, mail slot though. Luckily, Dan is actually in the goal. That was a very accurate shot, but playing it back for Team Gecko there. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, overshot the goal, ended up in a tube, and they scored before I could get out of the tube. So I was locked into the tube after the goal went in. Felt really embarrassed. So, what a beautiful feed there from Froggy. Had a bad internet. He's going to stuff that one in. Good for another 2, and now Fusion up by 16.
And Cobra Strike in the chat asking, is there a spot with match schedules? Dano McFabulous, one of our casters there, handling the link duties. So thank you to Dano. But yes, I'm sorry about Nightbot. Nightbot gets a little bit anxious sometimes, and he'll just hand out those warnings for some reason. I really should ban the guy. That bot is troublesome. In any case, though, we'll be sorry about that. The schedule's available for you online. Also, they show on the Discord, too, on the League Streams Media channel page. If you pay attention to that, they'll give you notifications when they go live. And at that, there's also a chat command in the Discord if you type in VRML upcoming, ! VRML upcoming. So a lot of different ways to be notified of when matches occur. Now that said, Alcost here is going to have a shoulder pass, going for the spin dunk there. And making it as well. Frogio was almost a save, maybe off his head. There was a lot of bodies, so can't tell for sure, but it was a goal nonetheless. 21 points for Fusion.
Yeah, I was watching the replay trying to see what happened. Any one of 3 things could happen. Could have bounced off his head. He could have gotten the grab and accidentally put it in himself because it looked like he might have been turning that direction.
Yeah.
Or he might have gotten the grab and it went in anyways. Any one of those things could have happened there. Multi was there, but yeah, not able to get the stop ultimately. And yeah, it's good for another 2 there.
Yeah.
For Fusion, now up by, what's that, 18.
Yeah, based off the saves that we've seen from Team Gecko, wouldn't be surprised if it was actually a legitimate save, but either or. Oh, that's a miss there from Dan, actually getting stunned now and off to Swift, and he'll end the round with the 23-3 mercy here. Late, so it will be, the first round going to Fusion and kind of picking up where, according to you from that last stream, that, I wasn't there casting. This is just where they left off, essentially.
Yeah, basically, it was. What was the score? I'm trying to remember. It was 19-3. I'm fairly certain. The round 2, the points in round 2 of the previous game.
Right.
So yeah, it was Fusion was looking to get that mercy, but Team Gecko was able to stave them off in that game. But unfortunately, here Gecko not able to stave it off here in round 1. As Fusion does get that mercy. We got access real time in chat saying I'm crying inside. Yeah, I feel for your access. It's never fun to get mercied on. I've definitely had it happen to myself quite a few times over the years. But yeah, going to stats, you got Swift and bad internet sharing game high points with 8. Alacosta 3, Froggy with 2. And then also notable is everybody in Fusion picking up 2 assists exactly. But also notable, we're going to go over the team stats right quick. Possession time, 339 to Fusion, 136 to Gecko. That is a 2-minute difference, and that translates to 20 shots taken for Fusion to 2 for Gecko.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see how that translates on the scoreboard and all that there.
And not Kex, also here on the roster for Team Gecko, stopping by in chat saying 2. Me too, I assume. But well, you know, self-deprecating humor is important. I believe that, as going here to bad internet. Actually, a nice grab again. Multi with a very purposeful save for sure. As Swift gets the disc, looks to dish it off to Frogio. One more cross pass, maybe to 2. The pose again. Multi the save. So you know what? Something to at least kind of hold their heads high on Dimwi. Is this defense from Multi, and now the shot going through, and that is very close as well.
Yeah, you know, he's feeling pretty good about that, and some of the other saves he's had in this game and the previous one. You know, it's one of those situations where, good opportunity there from, I believe that was, no, that was not Multi, but yeah, good opportunity there from somebody on Team Gecko, but he got stunned out. He got sent back into the Gecko zone. Are we going to see a bounce shot here? Now that the goalie's back. But yeah, no, I was just going to point out that, sometimes your team loses, but you still don't feel too bad about the game just because you know you did the best you could do in Multi. Again, I couldn't. Yeah, Multi getting the grab again. So this is the kind of series you can walk away from and go, yeah, we lost, but I did the best I could do. I did a lot of work, and I got a lot of good saves, and I think I can still feel good about it.
And he definitely is. I mean, just getting save after save. That last one, maybe one of the easier grabs that he'll have, just being that it did come from outside that goal, an attempted anchor of sorts, but didn't really get the amount of speed behind it that maybe they needed. So Multi got the save. Frogio on the other end, though, getting the recovery. Not for too long, because now Multi playing a little bit of that same goalkeeper duties from the back line as he does launch a 3, and that's going to be the first 3 going to Team Gecko. Multi really doing a fantastic job to open up this round, and you know what, across the series as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the MVP of the first 2 minutes of this game here. The number of stops he had, number of good stops he had there to prevent Fusion from getting those early points, and then to turn it around and be the player to get the 3 on his team. To draw the first blood here in round 2, that's absolutely massive.
Yeah, is this...
hashtag Multi.
Is this, hold on, as a bad internet gets the disc here, actually maneuvers around, showing those handles, going for the fakes, and making no mistake, it's just a flash, and in a flash, it is a 2-pointer for Fusion and bad internet, putting on the moves.
That is what. So it used to be that it was hard to make saves on the backboard, on the backside of the goal. But as you get used to taking shots on the backside of the goal, you tend to save them more. So it's not as dangerous as it once was, particularly at the start of the season. But when the shooter refuses to anchor up, and another opportunity here for Fusion. They're able to put that one in for the 3. And again, I'm not able to see. It was Alacost.
Yeah, 15 meters a second, and another anchor shot as well.
And I was just to complete that thought that now the danger is if they refuse to commit to space, as a goalie, they can juke you out, they can freeze you out. If they're just going to keep their hand on the wall, keep themselves anchored, as we saw in that previous goal the shooter did to juke around the goalie, freeze him up.
And speaking of freeze, well, the offense rather getting frozen because it's another turnover here. Will be dunked in this time. Nothing fancy, just straight up. Put it in for bad internet. So you gotta varying up. First you throw in the finesse moves, and then you just throw up the very cut and dry. Just hey, I'm gonna put that in the goal. Make them think twice as if I'm gonna dance around next time or I'm just gonna go strong. And keeping the defenses on their feet with just a variation of moves and finishes like that. That's going to be a very good thing for any team and any offensive player trying to learn how to work through the tough defenses these days.
Ooh, an opportunity there from Team Gecko, but a beautiful steal there from bad internet BTW. But also in chat, Mighty Quinn VRML saying, hey guys, what up?
Welcome, sir, to the stream. Seeing a lot of Mighty Quinn lately in the community, getting into the Quest version, and happy to, again, one of the many players that we're seeing become kind of new familiar faces here in the community. Been great. As speaking of great, there's Multi with some more defense, unable to get a clear though, so the backboard pass goes to Frogio and dumps it right in just before being contested by the diving defense.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed that goal, so I'm looking for the replay there as I got a little distracted for a moment. But okay, I see. Yeah, beautiful feed there behind the goal, puts it in.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a classic setup there for that one.
To see Newton Dad in there. Yeah, I mean, day VRML. We've got a lot of games. You know, the European matches typically for us North Americans will be played around this time. Happy to cast as many of them as we can, and I dare say we usually get them just about all. But yes, we have a lot of matches today. On that note, too, we've completed 2 of them so far. We still have, including this one. Hold on, a shot maybe attempted. But after this one is finished, we'll still have 6 more matches in North America later on tonight as well. So a busy schedule, around 30 matches between right now and the end of Sunday. So there's a lot that's going to be streamed in the very near future.
Really the end of Saturday, because I think there's only 2 games on Sunday scheduled. Excuse me, 3. So yeah, I mean, if there's 30 matches, there's 30 matches between now and Saturday.
Hold on, lighting it up like a match. It's Swift. Gets the disc, gets the 12 points, up by 9 now here for Fusion. On that list too, I was including because at least when I checked a couple hours ago, there was still 8 unscheduled matches. So,
fair, yeah.
So
fair
they could be Sunday. We'll see. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mentioned in the Discord the other day. It seemed like last week the big matches, that shot just goes off, rebounded though by Froggy Yo and dunks it in again. We've seen a lot of dunks from them. But to finish that thought as well, last Sunday we saw like all the really hype matches of the week all on Sunday. It seems like teams overcompensated now because Saturday was pretty barren last week, and now we've got all the hype matches on Saturday thus far.
And also, Mighty Quinn still in chat says, my wife, her 2 brothers, and my cousin are joining the EA family tomorrow. And yeah, I'm definitely really excited to see new players joining the community. The quest is definitely bringing in a lot of new faces, and I'm really excited to really interact with all the new people over the coming weeks.
Oh no, Dimwi!
Oh, wow.
I needed to interrupt because now they're just getting a little silly here. Frogio with the no look dump in off that pass. They're in a rhythm. What more can you say? When you start seeing teams pulling out those kinds of style moves, the Steez moves, you know they're feeling good. Little bit of Joker in the Fusion DNA today.
Yeah, that was that's the kind of goal I wish I had on my highlight reel, because that was smooth. That was smooth from the shooter.
So at the moment, bad internet, so just waiting and waiting there for the goalie to be stunned out. And I do like that from Fusion. So despite the fact that, yeah, they got a little loose in some of these plays, I mean, they're recognizing, for Multi being there in the goal, they still can't, they can't not treat him seriously. So not opting just for a quick shot on that one, they waited until he was dealt with on the stun before the shot. So testament to Team Gecko and to Multi's defense as well. So speaking of that defense, there's bad internet. He has been just a defensive clamp as well. Constantly, we've seen him over the weeks, subbing recently, but now joining the full-time roster, and he's been putting up huge stats week to week. And he's going to go in for maybe another goal off that backboard, and it's a 3. 22 points now, and just about identical numbers to that last round. 23-3 in round 1, and now it's just about there for the second.
And I caught the alternative angle from your view on the stream immediately after that went in. Goalie gets stunned out. As goalie's getting stunned out, he's turning around. When he turns around on that shot, he read the trajectory on that shot as it was leaving the player's hands. That was a beautiful read by the goalie, but unfortunately he got stunned out there. And there it is. That's going to be the 2 for the Mercy there with a minute and a half to spare. But yeah, just I'm pretty sure that was Multi I was just talking about again. And I just point out that Multi knew where that disc was going before it actually left the hand of the shooter. Which is that's one of the skills. It's hard to if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't notice when people are good like that. Yeah. But I saw it there as Multi was getting stunned out. He was already turning, and the disc hadn't left the shooter's hand yet. Yeah. So it was a beautiful read from Multi. Had he not gotten stunned out, I'm confident he would have saved that 3 off that backboard. Yeah, and definitely good recognition there from Dimwi for, again, all the new viewers there. I mean, Dimwi is a very, very skilled goalie in North America. And the teams that he's been on, and I mean, really, before I even really knew much about Dimwi as a player, period. The first time I got to face him and his team,
that stood out. Even watching in some of the other community activity leagues and such, it became very apparent that he knows what he's talking about at goal, which is a very nice counter to having me on stream because if I'm talking about goalkeeping skills, it's more of a do as I say, not as I do kind of case. So again, the talent level from these defenders in the league today, it's a sight to behold for sure.
No, it definitely is. There's a lot of really good goalies in the league. I consider myself competent in goal, but there are some players that are just out of this world.
They're
when
nuts.
it comes to goal. Yeah.
Shout out Middleman for talking about European goalies who've 3 separate occasions now. That's the thing. There's a lot of talented ones. I mean, including Alacost, Fragio. They're both really strong. I mean, Taco on Thursday. I mean, there's a lot, you know. But Middleman, 3 times now, he's had these spurts where in the span of a minute or two, he'll get 3-4 saves in a row. It's ridiculous. But I mean, I've seen that as well from Taco on Thursday a couple weeks ago. Had a play like that, and as I said, as someone who's not a natural goalie, it's very interesting and kind of fascinating to watch when these goalies get in their zones, because we all know in sports there's such thing as, you know, the offensive zone, right, where a hot hand forms and someone's feeling really good and everything they shoot goes in. That applies to goalies too at times. They get in these zones and suddenly it's, you know, 2, 3, 4 saves in a row in just the same, you know, 1 or 2 set plays basically, and it's quite insane to watch. And Multi, I mean, was just about on the verge of that at some points, putting on several saves in a row throughout those 2 rounds.
Yeah, Multi definitely did a bit of heavy lifting in this matchup, and that's not to say anything bad about Team Gecko. Just the number of saves he had is notable.
Oh yeah.
In this game, and definitely prevented. I mean, the mercy still happened, but he definitely contributed to holding them off as long as they did, because of the saves that he made. And yeah, getting into the zone it's one of those things sometimes. Yeah, it's almost as someone who's had streaks. Like just the other week, I had a good game where I just had 1, 2, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
From the same spot, even in sometimes. And you have to, when that happens, you kind of also have to, like, as someone, it happened too. I'm not saying this is how everyone feels about it, and I'm not speaking for any other goalies, but you almost give some of that up to luck a little bit, because when you're playing that position, you know that once that shooter is so far in, once he's so close to the goal, a lot of that comes down to trying to predict as best you can. But when you're predicting anything in sports, it's really a toss-up, and because you never know where they're actually going to send it. You know, they might fake it high, you track it high, and then they go low, and et cetera, et cetera.
You know what? Very true. I would trust some of these defenders' prediction abilities more so than my local weatherman, for that matter. So I mean, you know, prediction definitely involved, but it's uncanny. There's it's specific players. You know, I don't have that luck. I don't.
Even like when you are making those predictions, it's hard to quantify, like, what exactly are you looking for when you think a shot's coming. And it's something about the body, you know, even though we're using avatars and the avatars aren't exactly one-to-one to your body language, you're still reading body language when you're in goal. You're still looking for how those shoulders are turned, even though the shoulders can turn funky depending on where the hands are and the head, yada yada. But you're still looking for how are the shoulders turned, where are they looking, what's their trajectory, what are their options in this situation. And so, I mean, there's so many things to consider when you're under attack like that. And so when you see players like Multi or, as you said, Alacost or Fragio, when they do make those plays, like, you have to know that leading up to that moment, the few seconds leading up to that, the amount of information that they took in and processed at least as much as they could in the time they had, and reacted in the appropriate way to make the save. It's really a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that plays right into what we were talking about earlier in terms of the body language, the physicality that goes into Echo Arena. Applies to Fusion too. We saw on Fusion, I mean, they, especially in that second round, once they started going and got rolling on that round, we were seeing some stees. We were seeing those style points, some of the flashy plays. And it was, as I was saying in the last stream, you know, Phantoms there versus Vibers, and as well as this one. That's the awesome thing that you just do not get with other games or with non-VR games. Basically, the only thing you can compare it to are actual sports in real life, because you don't see those reverse dunks, the 180s, the 360s, the behind the back maneuvers, and I mean, all of that is what the players were actually doing physically. I mean, I know sometimes, stick turning is also a thing, but I mean, especially these days, and especially with the Quest, you can really just use that full body motion to vary up your offense in all kinds of creative ways, as well as the defense and how you read said offense. So it's a very fun exchange, and that's why every single match at any level, any tier, on any given day, they're just fun to watch, because no two matches are ever exactly the same. You're always going to get some sort of unique set of highlights and stories coming out of the game, whether it's one person getting hot on the offensive end or the defensive end, or one team just locked and loaded completely in terms of the passes and the boosts. There's always some unique stories to be told in every single match, and luckily we get to be able to tell them. It's fun.
It is fun, and another thing about it is, especially, and it's one of those things, especially for some of the players who are just now getting to experience the beta, or are looking forward to experience the beta. One other thing, when you're watching it in spectator, and this is not a criticism, it's just the nature of avatars in video games,
right,
is the athleticism involved in some of the stuff that these players do. You don't actually get because like when you squat or when you're spinning or whatever, you can kind of lose that in the translation from person to avatar. You can lose exactly what their bodies are doing, and like I said, it's not a criticism of the game at all, but it's one of those things when you jump in and you start realizing, to pull off some of the things these guys are doing, to do what they do, I have to do this. Even though it looked like this, I actually have to do this. You realize, there's a lot of physicality involved here. There's a lot of athleticism involved here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive once you actually get into it and compare yourself, what you're doing, against directly one-to-one against what someone else is doing, and you see that jump where on screen maybe it looked, it was kind of a laissez-faire pass. No, that was a pointed pass that took an incredible amount of skill. And he actually had to duck to make that happen, or he had to juke to the left, whatever. And it's so I'm really excited for. I'm just to express. I'm really excited for some of these new players that are excited to play. I can't wait for them to get in, because once you get in, you realize, watching it, that wasn't even a tenth of the story here, because it's an amazing experience once you get in.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it'll be more interesting too with the Quest version and whatnot, and all these new viewers and new players and new Discord activity. Really seeing and kind of, I guess, putting to the test, as more masses of people come in, are we going to see those natural born killers of Echo Arena, who maybe didn't know it at the time, but they come in and they just take the league by storm. They learn the game really fast. There's a few players like that in the league, but it'll be interesting to see how many of them we get with the Quest, and maybe when we'll start seeing some really good and unexpected players rising out the ranks. I mean, I know in the Discord discussion, Andy W was talked about as one of them. I mean, he hasn't even been really playing for a year, I don't even think. I mean, he just got started last year, I believe.
I think he's a little over a year at this point.
But either or, yeah, he got good really, really quickly. You look at, again, players all over Alduin, who's barely level 50, and he's already impressing. I mean, I think with a Quest, we're just going to see more of that as time does go on.
Oh, and I can say, as somebody, just given my age, my level of physical ability, we'll say, the limits of my physical ability, and all that, I'm really taking in this time I can, while my competing is something that I'm relevant in.
What you're saying is you want to wait till the until the kids take over. Basically, you wanna stick into the limelight as long as you can.
I'm enjoying my time in competition. I mean, that's not to say I'll stop competing or anything, but obviously, once more teams fill in, I think the likes of someone like me, who I think I'm a very competent player, but I'm not 20 anymore, and there's a reason teams like Joker and Kang and Milk and Orbit and these teams with these younger players do so well. There's a lot more. There's a few off the top of my head, but these teams with these young players, they do so well. It's because I genuinely believe the kids have an advantage, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, not
I
at all.
think it's a very natural thing. I think it's someone in the older age might not want to admit, but it's definitely the case.
You know what? Fortune favors the bold and the young. But yes, it is true. And over here, I'm seeing on Twitch, for some reason my chat lost connection, it seems like. But I am seeing that Lime subscribed for 4 months now with Prime just a minute ago. So thank you to Lime in the clutch. Appreciate that very, very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We always appreciate that.
And Swift there in the chat as well. We just saw him on Fusion. Stopping in there saying GG's and what have you as well, and saying I'm 16 and already a caster. Does that mean I'm automatically losing skill? Yes.
No. That's caster has nothing to do with it. Yeah, no. I'm just. I know how old I am. I know what my physical limitations are, and I know my time in the competing, trying to get in the gold is limited. That's all.
Hey, like I said earlier, being humble and also self-deprecation, important thing when you're on top, because then when you're not anymore, you know, you can at least say, hey, I did it the right way. I don't know.
Well, I can say I tried.
Yeah.
That's it. I can say I tried. I tried my hardest. I played as good as I could. And I know I'm the best in the world. But
yeah. Me too, didn't we? Both of us. We're the best. Either or. Will be the end of that match and the end of our little chat here. We do have another match coming up in a little bit. As you can see, pulled up the schedule there. The next one's starting in about 20 minutes. So I think for the meantime, say 25 minutes, we'll just end this stream, but we'll be back in another 10 to 15. Go live again for our final European match of the day, which is Smash Dash versus Alpha Ducks. Again, at the 45-minute mark. So 20 minutes, 25 minutes from now, and we'll be back. So until then, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. But until then, I've been Palidore, that's been SirDimwi, and you guys have been a great chat. So be happy, healthy, safe, and we'll see you again real soon.